If I wanted to go back to the beginning, I decided to go in-house because I was frustrated when working at agency. Or, you put so much of your heart and soul into it, but then you don't really see the impact. So that's why I was attracted when this opportunity comes, because I thought, well, what sort of impact can I make? And when I had a chat to the founder, I thought I can influence a lot of decisions and working closely with people who actually knows what they're doing as well. And I love dogs, so it's a perfect job. I think there's maybe a bit of stigma about being an agency and then working in-house, but I think working in-house is a good challenge as a designer. You get to face different challenges. Working with Anna, our founder, she is a bit of designer, and she gives me this example of branding as if a thread in a sweater is loose, then you don't want to keep pulling the thread and the brand falls apart. So being able to design a system that can work for the next 5-10 years is crucial. We're a carbon negative business, so there's a lot of decisions that you need to make sure that is it sustainable enough, or if it's not, then sometimes we need to challenge our suppliers. We make sure every element of the packaging is recyclable, including the packing tape. I think maybe initially some designers felt, there's not a lot that you can play with, but I find restrictions quite liberating sometimes. You need to find ways to make it work. Sometimes you have to look for different materials, and maybe sometimes you have to create something that's never been done before. That's the joy in, I guess, exploring the unknown. There's a thread in Reddit called Eli5 that basically means explain to me like I'm 5. I try to not dumb it down, but make it really easy to understand why we need to make certain decisions. What does it mean for the business? What value does it bring to the business? There's a reason why we do this illustration. There's a reason why we use this shape, layout, and everything. Going back to my answer about the founder being your biggest supporter, different departments have different agendas as well. But I think if the top-down view is that design is important, branding is important for the business, then trust your gut. I remember watching Dean Poole speaking at AG Ideas 10 plus years ago, and I still remembered his presentation. It was quite conceptual. He was just talking about the alphabets. And as a young designer, I was multiple ways of seeing things, and there's so many ways that you can take just a simple idea and create something else. And I'm always very inspired by, obviously, Pentagram, designers who like to play with a bit of risk and they're not afraid of just conforming. And I also appreciate designers who don't have a style, because I think and I'm stealing a little bit of Evio's quote here, designer's job is to be a midwife. So I was at RGA as a freelancer for a few months, brought in to do a bit of rebrand for a co-working space. Co-working space at the time was a bit kind of early. There's only WeWork, and then that was basically it. But then the brand that we did, Bridge Plus, the strategy was thinking about, well, what is the idea of work actually? And obviously very different to creating dog food. I think the nucleus is the same. It's about connection and love that people bring to their work. Say yes to everything. You never know where that leads you. Maybe it'll be something fun and dangerous. Just stay humble, be patient, trust the process, say yes to everything. You get out of it as much as your effort, right? So if you don't try to find meaning in your course, then you wouldn't get anything out of it either. Don't have to get an education, but there's a lot of benefits in learning from the masses, learning about design history, even though maybe as a student would find it boring. But then a few years into working, you'll realize, oh yeah, what that professor said is actually true. Just hearing how your class